Welcome, ladies and gents. This news dropped several days ago, so I'm a little bit behind on it, but there's been other things going on. So we're here now. So, Godzilla vs. Kong, the next movie. Don't really want to call it a sequel, because we didn't really know anything about it, but it was the next in the Legendary's Monsterverse, right? It was the linear next movie, however you want to call it. We've now got a synopsis. It looks like they're going to team up against something else. So I guess it kind of is a sequel now, because they're going to team up against a gargantuan threat. Which I like the sound of. Cool. I mean, it's not Godzilla versus Kong, but it is a follow-on, because they're probably going to work together. Maybe they'll have a little scuffle at the end. Who knows? But let's take a look, ladies and gents. You know, I'm all about the giant monsters, because, you know, I'm basically a child. But Godzilla vs. Kong gets a synopsis, cast, behind the scenes still, and confirmation that Godzilla will return. Now, this was kind of confirmed already by Toho and the official Godzilla website, which obviously they run. You know, they basically discuss, you know, what's going to happen moving forwards in Godzilla's world and what he's up to. There was a large rumor that this movie would be Son of Kong. Not overly sure where that came from. I reported on it, but I can't remember where it came from. And I think it was just a rumor. Just something popped up. People were like, oh yeah, Son of Kong. One of those kind of rumors that just perpetuated, and I don't know. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I'll be very surprised if that's the case. Maybe it's the case because you'll have Son of Kong, or Kong will have a son, and then he'll need to protect him. Maybe. I guess that's the only way I can think that that'll be how it moves forward. Perhaps. One of the main positives about this news, though, with Godzilla returning, is of course that Legendary have clearly secured some deal with Toho to keep using Godzilla, which is fantastic news. Because if you don't know, ladies and gents, obviously Toho own Godzilla. It's their property. They created it. They have the rights to it. And they've been loaning it out to Legendary. Obviously, at great expense to Legendary. It cost them a lot of money to have the rights to use Godzilla. And it's why we've not seen a lot of the original Toho monsters, and there's been, you know, creatures created by Legendary instead. Yeah, sure, we saw Ghidorah, we saw Rodan, we saw Mothra, but that was only in one movie. And then from there we haven't seen anything else. And I get that, that's cool, that's fine. Great expense, you know, using the rights to these individual kaiju titans that they call them in Legendary's universe, but it makes sense. But really, really good deal. Now, clearly, something's been worked out that Legendary can still use Godzilla. Now, for those being concerned that it means Toho can't use Godzilla and do their own stuff, which is also what they've been rumoured to be working on as well, the rights deal, as we understood it, never actually hindered Toho from using Godzilla. They didn't strong-arm themselves into a corner. They were more than able, more than capable to keep using Godzilla, which, again, fantastic. Good on them for striking such a good bargain. And I think having very, very good common sense in going, we'll make another company, Legendary, make our property very popular in the Western market, so we don't have to take that financial hit. And then when we're done loaning them out, we'll come in with a movie which will make more money worldwide than previously. Or than previous movies would have done. Which I think is a great idea. That's how I've always looked at what Toho is doing. A very smart business move. I could be giving them more credit than necessary, but that's how I view it. But anyway, let's get into this synopsis. I'm rambling on. But again, this is good. Like, this is all good news, I think, personally. So, Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures have announced that filming on the untitled Godzilla vs. Kong sequel is now taking place in Queensland, Australia. There have been conflicting reports about what to expect from the movie, including claims that it won't feature Godzilla. Well, we now know that that's not the case, and it doesn't sound like we're getting Son of Kong either. So this is the brief synopsis that's been dropped. The sequel pits the almighty Kong and the fearsome Godzilla against a colossal, undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very existence and our own. Now, it's added that this movie will delve further into the histories of these titans, their origins, and the mysteries of Skull Island and beyond. While uncovering the mythic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever. Now, this is interesting. Let's break it down, right? So the sequel obviously teams up Godzilla and Kong against a colossal undiscovered threat. Now, what could that threat be? It'd be good if it was Destroyer. That would be fantastic. Now, undiscovered doesn't mean it's ancient. A lot of these synopsis from Legendary has been pretty specific in its wording with, ancient, mythic, all these kind of things, right? So, the fact that they're just like, undiscovered threat, hidden within our world. We do know that there was that company, obviously the ones, which made, so in Godzilla vs. Kong, there was a lot going on, seemingly. A lot of, plot lines and threads. There was almost like a farm of skull crawlers, and eggs and things like that. Sort of hatchlings and that. So, could it be that they have then used, King Ghidorah's cells and Godzilla's cells and then made Destroyer? Maybe. Potentially. Could this be, and one which I'm leaning more towards, could this then just be an original Titan from Legendary? Yeah, it definitely could be. And they've actually made some really good ones in their time. In movies as well as out of the movies. The out of the movies ones are a little bit better. In their sort of graphic novel form. They've made some really, really decent Titans. Very, very, well thought out. And especially Godzilla King of the Monsters introduced an awful lot of Titans, which they then seemingly just sort of chucked to one side in the rest of the movies, because they were like, we just put them to bed, no worries. No, keep them alive, keep them around, that's kind of cool. But again, they were really well thought out, and I think some of that comes down to the people behind it. Michael Dougherty was very, very good with things like that. Now, the interesting part about all of this, which I find most interesting, is it says, we're going to delve further into the histories of the Titans, their origins, and the mysteries of Skull Island. I mean, Skull Island was basically destroyed. Now, maybe it's, pertaining to that, I guess. I don't know. Skull Island was becoming very, very volatile, uninhabitable, and that's why they obviously had to move Kong, and Kong was getting too big for it as well. So that's interesting, I think, personally. And then saying, while uncovering the mythic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever. So, helped forge them. The thing which is a curveball with all of this is Adam Wingard's back. And the director has quite a large say on this property. Michael Dougherty had a lot of say moving forwards with King of the Monsters and sort of how they, introduced stuff and the sort of world that they were establishing. And Adam Wingard came in with Godzilla vs. Kong, was like, boom, science massively far. We're like sci-fi world now. Whereas Michael Dougherty was like, yeah, Alien Titans, King Ghidorah, cool. Could we be getting more Alien Titans with this? Could, they sort of bring in the extraterrestrial element from Toho stuff? Maybe. Does sound potentially like that, forging Titans, tying them to humankind. Doesn't sound like they're, terrestrial monsters, does it, at that point? So, that's interesting, I think, personally. And then we had this revealed to us. I think. Is this right? Blah, blah, blah. Said to be released, blah, blah, blah. Was this? Well, this is either a new one or an old one. I can't remember. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this all down below in the comments section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Love to hear any and all thoughts and theories. Take care, though.